It's time for Inside the Patch with your Las Vegas Raiders. Here's Gnarley Charley.
Welcome back to Inside the Patch. And of course, we've got Mitch Adams, the professor of the Perfect Rotation basketball training device. Look at that thing. PerfectRotation.com. If you put Raiders in the code, you get a discount. That's a good thing.
30% off.
30% off. Well, so we talked about the Raiders, and we've got so much hope and love for our defense this year. How about Mike Epps? It's not Mike Epps. Is it Mike Epps? That's an actor. That's an actor. Our free safety Epps. I forgot his. I don't know if it's Mike Epps or not. I know it's Epps. Okay, he's an older guy, and I'm just
Marcus
saying.
Epps.
Okay, but you see, I got the two confused. We do not want the comedian Mike Epps in our free safety. Now, Marcus is fine, but I could see them maybe getting a young guy to maybe work under him. Possibly. Well,
let's back up because Epps is playing strong safety.
Well, that's too.
Morg
That's yeah.
And he was pretty solid this year. I have to give it to him.
I agree. I just think he would be a perfect veteran guy, kind of like when Charles Woodson came in there his last year, and was showing the guys. I saw an interview with Charles Woodson, and he said he was when he left the Raiders the first time. No, when he was going to come back, there was a little bit of disrespect, not just from like one or two Raider heads up, right? But he said, my heart was here, and we worked it out. And he goes, he loved being a part of that locker room. He's a Raider for life. And he was talking about how they said, Charles, people said you didn't like to practice. He goes, it's not that I didn't like to practice. He said, as a veteran, I learned through these coaches the way to he goes, I learned formations and that they use for their plays. I learned how to watch the game different. And so he said he would really, like the 20 yards in, that's where he would really look on game film, and he broke it down. He said, through some of these coaches, they taught me how to watch film smarter. And that was the whole thing with him. And so he learned and he taught other people. And he goes, as I became a veteran, I would pick up on things. It's like a poker player on a tell, oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. And only things a veteran could do, So it wasn't that he didn't want to practice. He put his emphasis on the way people act when they do certain things. And that's that veteran thing that I love, that when we get those players that have the veteran savvy,
And that's why when I said a veteran corner to go opposite Jones on the other side.
Yeah.
We, number 0 was that Bennett. It's tough to throw a rookie out there unless it's somebody like Charles, and I did that because he used to do Oakland.
Yep.
And then we can do that because we love Charles. I thought Epps coming in, he was about 4 or 5 years in the league. He was decent last year. I think Trayvon Moore really stepped it up. And, he looked a lot bigger.
Yeah.
Certainly came through with the number of interceptions, which he hadn't done the first couple of years. And I liked what I saw from him. I do think a veteran is needed.
And Nate Hobbs, too. I love him. I love the way he's playing.
Yeah, could be the slot. I mean, it could be the starter or it could be the slot corner. But I do think a wily veteran, like you mentioned, would work, because somebody to teach these guys tendencies, what to look for. And that's what Charles did. Because when Charles's first stint with the Raiders, when he was a rookie, was sheer talent. He just went out there and he was on the corner. He played corner, and he and Eric Allen held it down. And then when he came back, he was the free safety. And my God, he was everywhere. It was that sort of, if we had a player like that, and whether that's in the defensive backfield or as a linebacker, somebody that's everywhere, sort of like, I hate to mention it, but Fred Warner, linebacker like that, or a player like that of that caliber that's all over the field. That's what you want. And I do think that we're going to see somebody elevate their play based on Max and Christian going off. Yeah. And others are going to want some of that shine, and they're going to elevate their games. And offensively, like I said, they're going to be jealous that they're not getting the press. And you watch Devontae Adams step up. Not that he hasn't. Jacoby Myers, watch him step up for sure. Michael Mayer. That guy, that giant tight end, that guy is going to be all world. You watch.
I think this is
got
his
a rookie
year.
season under his belt. Yeah,
he's got that 87.
It's going to be interesting.
That Raymond Chester, Dave Casper 87 on his back. So, that could be really good for us. Did you ever hear the story about Eric Allen when he was talking about the tuck rule? Have you ever heard him talk about that?
I've heard a lot of stories.
Well, this is what he
try to forget about most of them, but please share.
No, well, he said it was a timeout, and he goes, and I was just kind of like, I could hear the coach. He was on the field, and he heard the play. He knew what the play was going to be, and he goes, I knew it was going to be like a passer I could totally pick off. I was going to maybe take it to the house. And he goes, I had it totally dialed in, and he goes, and then tuck happened, but I was happy, and then I wasn't happy because he got screwed over. But he said if Brady would have got the throw off, he would have had a pick six. That's his version of it. It's like he knew the play, and he was all ready to, and the thing is, if that would have happened, woulda, shoulda, coulda, whatever. It didn't, and so it's hard to go back. But I was like, we wouldn't know if it did happen that way. We wouldn't even know because it would have happened that way, But it's those kind of things that make me go, no,
Yeah, that's a tough one to relive. I mean, for me, I was a little young for the Immaculate Reception. I heard my dad cursing.
What cuss words did your dad say? That's funny.
All of them.
I remember the Holy Roller. I was watching, and I hit my knee on the fireplace. I was jumping up and down, and I hurt myself. I saw it. We scored. I jumped up, hit the fireplace, and now I'm on the ground. But I'm still happy because Casper, kicked it into the end zone, and then we recovered for a touchdown.
Oh my goodness! Then there was another game. Speaking of blown calls, Jack Tatum meeting Rob Lytle in Denver to send us to back-to-back Super Bowls. Back in that was the Super Bowl 12 leading up to that. And he hits Lytle at the top of pow, and he fumbles. And I don't know if it was Dave Pear, Otis, somebody had the ball, Dave Rose, somebody headed the other direction, and they blow the play dead. No fumble. It's like, what? So there were a number of those plays that just pull my heart.
Well, now, it's so funny because you see, there's probably a lot of plays in our childhood that would not have stayed if they had replay. You know what I mean? Just because now when you see a catch, you're like, hold on, we got 19 angles to look at before. Is there any yellow on the field? I'm always like, I'm never confident. Like, oh, there's a touchdown. I'm always like, wait a minute.
Wait a minute.
Give me 10 more minutes.
Like a kick return or a punt return. You're like, let me look. It's funny that people are so used to replay. And I was at a high school basketball, state championship games in Sacramento over the weekend. And it's funny because there were a bunch of mothers behind me. And I mean, they were into the game. Oh, man. I should have recruited them as Raider fans, man. Oh, my God. They were just
and loud.
They were letting the refs have it. And then they obvious misplay. And they're like, why aren't they looking at the replay? And I said,
this is high school.
There's no replay in high school. And they're like, we've been yelling at the refs all season for not checking the replay.
Oh, there was a video. It was on TikTok, and this girl's probably 9 or 10, girls basketball, shoots a free throw, and throws an air ball because she didn't have the perfect rotation basketball training device. But somebody yells, air ball, and everybody just turns like a little kid. It's because that's my daughter. It's my daughter. I can say that. Like she had to apologize, but she totally called her kid out with air ball, and everybody just turned her head like, you horrible person. Man. She goes, "It's my daughter. It's my daughter. She threw an air ball. She shouldn't have." You know.
I love that mother.
It was just funny. But see, that mother should be calling you for the perfect rotation basketball training device. That's her problem.
By all means.
Hey, let's talk about the schedule next year. I was just checking it out. So we go to L.A. twice. We play the Rams and the Chargers in L.A., which kind of constitutes two more home games for us, right? the AP coming home game. Come on, man. You don't think they're going to go crazy for that?
I might find myself at both of those games.
Rams and Chargers. Now, my brother is a season ticket Rams holder, so I might have to go with a Rams fan, but maybe we'll tie him up and you come, Mitch, and you and I go together.
Wait, Charlie, the screen froze on me there. I didn't hear a thing you said.
I said maybe we'll just tie my brother up and then you and I will just go. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
It's funny because the Rams saying is it's our house. Whose house? Our house, right? But the Raiders were playing, and it was like apparently it's the Raiders' house. You don't have enough loud enough fans, and I don't know if you've been there yet. SoFi, it's super steep.
I haven't. I really want to go there,
but the video screen is across the whole field, right? I found myself watching the screen. The only time I went, Gruden was coached. He was little on the field, but up on the screen, boom, you can see everything. I'm like, I'm just watching TV. I'm here, but I'm watching TV, you know? and it's great. It's a great stadium. It's loud, but we are going to SoFi twice next year.
I spent my summer vacations right across the street from there. That was my summer vacation in Inglewood every
summer. Well, you know, NFL.
That's my old neighborhood.
Well, the NFL Films is right there too. If you ever see them, like when they go outside, you can see the little grass area where they do their things from SoFi. It's just right across the way. So it used to be Hollywood Park and the Forum, and now it's SoFi Stadium.
And guess what's going in across the street, across Century?
What's that?
The Clippers Arena.
Oh,
yeah.
They already have the Staples. Are they going to be the punch? I don't know. What were the paper cutters or like at Staples Center and Office Depot?
Well, their owner financed this. Ballmer financed it by himself.
Oh, wow.
And oh my God, it's going to be a state-of-the-art arena. I've digressed a little bit. Back to the Raiders. I'm sorry.
Right. No, that's all right. That's good stuff.
I am excited for what we're going to do next year, and I do think Denver will get it. We'll knock those guys off, and I know we're going to knock the Chargers off. And the confidence that we derived from beating Kansas City on Christmas Day, and with what we're going to bring to the table defensively next year.
Well, you know who's coming too. Russell Wilson's coming. Kirk Cousins is coming. We got Pittsburgh. We have Atlanta in Vegas. That's happening. So all these guys that we were trying to get are going to come and wish that they were on our team when they get chased down by Christian and Max. That sounds like a super church. Max Christian. The super church. Turn or burn, brother.
The super church of Christian Max or Max Christian. I love it, man. Maybe they should do something where, wow. What's your level of faith?
Yeah.
I'm a Max Christian.
You're just running. You're running. You're running from us. And you better get rid of the ball.
When my mother invites me to church on Sundays, I'm like, Mom, I'm already attending. There's a
new church. It's
going to go see Max Christian.
Max Christian. It sounds like a Max Headroom Christian man. Mom, no, I go to the Church of Max Christian. Got to take it to the max.
Yeah. Take it to the max with the Christians.
That's right. See?
I'll find a way to say that when she calls. Because, inevitably, even as children, Mom would find a way. She's like, you're going to church Sunday. Like, no. I'm like, it's a 10 o'clock game, Mom. We're not going. She says, you're going.
I got to call foul on Mr. Mike Lombardi. I no longer like him. I no longer. I've lost every bit of respect for him. And Mike Lombardi, if you don't know, he was part of the Raiders in '96. I think 92 to 96, whatever.
He was there for He was there for a little bit. Yeah.
But Al fired him when he was getting missed. He realized that he was a secret patriot. He was an undercover spy. He's the one that told Al, Randy Moss is washed up. He's no good, and got him to trade him to the Patriots. I mean, he was a part of that, and that's when Al goes, "Oh, okay, you're done." Well, anyway, his son had been our offensive coordinator the last couple of years with Josh McDaniels, and man, Lombardi would get on the news and he would talk about Derek Carr's fault. He made. In Darren Waller, Hunter Renfrow, he just slammed them and just put them all down. And then, as you guys all know, our stepdad got kicked off the team, and we were happy about that. Ding Dong, the witch was dead. But Lombardi still runs his mouth, and he's the one that's been, for no reason, going after AP. He has nothing to do with the Raiders now. And he says, why is AP talking about the Raider way? And he thinks because he's from Crenshaw. He just did all those things. And I'm like, the best thing you can do is not talk, because you sound like a guy that's mad because your son was a horrible offensive coordinator and you stood up for the guy who was the devil. And now you're still trying to shove it down the Raiders, for no reason. And I'm like, AP did not deserve that. And he goes, AP, he's like Don King. He's just trying to sell tickets, and he's all rah cheerleader. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
The trouble with guys like him, and I hate to say it, but also with Amy Trask, you get these positions, and then when you no longer have them, you want to still feel important, and so you try to talk a good game so you can stay relevant, but everything he said, it just sounds like sour grapes.
Right.
It's like, dude, shut up. Like you said, shut up. You're no longer at a level where someone's going to listen to you. It doesn't matter. Just enjoy your retirement.
I remember in the 80s, I worked at a radio station, and this guy got fired, and he deserved to be fired. And he just went out and ran his mouth. And it got to where I felt bad for him, because I go, you don't realize, you make you look like there was probably a reason you got fired. There's a way to exit a thing and keep your cool and keep your composure. You don't need to lash out. It makes you look weaker, It's like, I would rather, there's nothing to say. Go on. Go.
Especially when you're let go, because it's based upon your performance. Now, everyone knows when you get let go and it's not your fault, then say something, because we want to hear from you. But when we know that you're the reason you got let go, shut up.
I left the job once where I could have pursued a lawsuit, and the only thing I would have won was my job back. But I didn't want it. I didn't want to go back there. No, I'm good. I'm not going to sue, because I don't want to go work over there. I'm gonna go over here, and I never, in anything in life, you need to just keep going forward. And honestly, if someone says, how you doing? They don't want to know. They really don't want to know. We say that. Don't tell us, because we don't care. And then as you start to explain, you start looking pity and petty, and it's like, no, and nobody cares. And they're like, oh, I wish he'd quit talking.
Yeah, quit talking, because what you're doing, because AP has been a player.
Right.
And he uses all of that bulletin board stuff to really get himself worked up. And now he's going to work that team up. And I do think, I was talking with my brother earlier this week. I said, who else is out there like AP? Is there anybody in basketball? No. Is there anybody in baseball? No. The only other person that is on the level of AP when it comes to this sort of it factor is Deion in Colorado.
Right.
And because it's so different,
right,
people want to speak negatively about it because Deion's got those norm. Kids wanting.
Yes.
Well, yeah. It's what wasn't the norm. It's going to become the norm. And it's obviously Deion was the first to really come in with this. And it's not even really bravado. I guess some people would call it bravado. But Deion's got those kids wanting to play for him. And you saw all of the excitement that he brought to Colorado. That same energy that AP is bringing to Las Vegas. Or let's just say to Raider Nation, because it's got a lot of people excited. And I can't put my finger on what Deion brings to the table, that excitement. And I can't put my finger on what AP is bringing. But when you look at it, those are the only two guys out there that are bringing that it with them that people are enamored by. Like, I don't know what it is, but I want to be a part of it. You saw Ocho Cinco ask Deion, said, I want a job. And Deion says, you forget I know who you are. You'll never show up. Then he comes to AP and says, I want a job. And they actually publicized it that he was a receiver coach. But I think it's probably more, he's probably going to come, probably both Colorado and Las Vegas, and assist at certain times at the behest of the coaches. So
think about this too. The coaching had to change. There was a time when you could be Woody Hayes and punch a player in the face. You could yell. I mean, these coaches in the 60s and 70s, they were the Bill Belichick. They were tyrants, and that was acceptable. Well, the world has changed now, and now there's this social media and Twitter, and it's a different animal. The players, the pros today are 20 years younger than you and I. You know, and they're men, and they grew up hitting buttons and not writing cursive, and it's a different world, and that's where I think this new style of coaching
is coming. Buttons, not writing cursive. I love it.
You know what I mean?
I looked at Gardner Minshew when he was born. He was born in '96. My son was born in '97. I'm like, holy crap!
I know.
It is a different day and age, but guess what? Those guys may have been tyrants, the Woody Hayeses, the Belichick.
All of those guys.
Do not cross Deion or you're off the team. Do not cross AP because I'm sure he too will be like, you're off this team. And these guys are going to be hard-nosed, tough coaches, but the players want to play for them because they bring a different energy than what everyone has been used to. And it's new. And I guarantee you're going to see a trend of guys coming into this league that bring the same sort of energy and we'll call it bravado that these current players want to play for. And it's going to be former players that are taking these roles as head coaches, not guys that have come up through the ranks like Marty Schottenheimer, who probably never played football, but was good with X's and O's. And he elevated all the way through high school, college, into the pros. And this guy was a Super Bowl coach. He coached all the way to the Super Bowl. But he never played, not at that level. These jobs are going to start going to guys that played the game because they're going to get these guys to play for them because they've done it before.
And they have that extra knowledge, that piece of knowing that I suited up. And this is what I know. And that's what AP brings more than anything is like, I think I'll listen to him because I know he won a Super Bowl. I know he played for the Giants. I've heard Eli Manning talk about AP saying he would come to me and ask questions and to where he goes, he knew what the plays were before they were happening. Yeah. He's smart and
student of the game.
That's it. And that's it. And once you get the kids believing and these players believing it, you know, every pro's been good on every team, but that doesn't mean they had the it. They got to get the it.
Boy, and they're going to want to play for the it. And, as I'm sitting here, I'm liking it to a kid that goes through officer training and comes out and tries to command the troops. they don't get the respect immediately. And that's kind of the coaching fraternity now.
Right.
But the old grizzled veteran that was a grunt and then a sergeant and worked his way up to maybe an officer, gets more respect because he's been in the trenches. He's been there, and they believe in him because he's telling them, I've done this before. Follow my lead. And that's what these guys, these owners are going to start looking for, that guy that's been there, because these young guys, they're going to want to follow someone that's done it before.
I agree 100% with you. Mitch, you are right on. Look at that.
Did we find out what it was?
Maybe so.
We did.
It's the Christian Max Church. We're both members now. The Christian Max Church of Black Wholeness. And I'm telling you, we are very excited about this year. And
there's my silver and black cross right there, baby.
There it is. And you know what? But I was thinking to myself, sometimes when I shoot, though, I don't have the rotation. And I think, what could make this even a little bit better? Look at that.
What makes the world go round is a perfect rotation. And same with your shot.
Look at that. See, and so it's got the place for your fingers. That's the whole key to that, right? So
that's for the finger flick.
The flick.
And it's weighted. It's going to strengthen your arm, your shooting side from fingertips to shoulder. Elbow under the ball, release. And all of a sudden, when you grab the regular ball, boom.
So I'm playing 50 and over softball. I just had my first game, and it's the hitting's fine. It's the running part. I stretch a triple into a double, solid. I did a triple right into a double, but I was warming up with my brother-in-law who's the coach, and he has this ball, and it's a weighted softball. And I think it might have something to do with what you're talking about, because you play catch with that, and all of a sudden now you get the other one, the real one, and you're like, whoa. And I felt like my fingertips, I felt there was some strength there. So I understand the principle. I think that's cool.
Same concept. Just like you put the donuts on the bat before you hit to activate your hitting muscles, you're activating your shooting muscles and strengthening them over the course of time.
And then it's memory, huh? And the memory muscle takes over.
And muscle memory, baby.
And it's like that. All right. Wow. So we got a lot of stuff coming up in the next couple of weeks. And we even I heard a rumor that we might be getting some some big Raiders, some very big Raiders named after presidents. That could happen.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I know I've got another one. He's not as big, but he was a good return man. We'll leave that.
No one's as big as the other one. I don't think in sure size, but we're working on all those things, and those are coming up on Inside the Patch. Mitch Adams, thank you so much. Let's all remember the Max Christian. This is a day when the Max Christian came to be.
Woo! The church of Max Christian. I'm a Max Christian, baby. I believe.
Are you a Christian? Not only am I Christian, I'm a Max Christian. That's like a little bit better. That's a little more.
Way better, because that has it. It's got it.
Yeah. Well, he's got double X's, so it's like double crosses. There it is. It's all good there. We're good.
Just
good
turn
to
it
go.
a little bit.
All right. It's Inside the Patch. Thank you, Mitch. We'll see you next week right here on ESPN 1430.
We'll be back with more Inside the Patch on 1430 ESPN, your official home of the Las Vegas Raiders.